All right. In theory, we should actually be live now. And hopefully we will be able to stay live. My Wi-Fi is being wonky with the weather that we're having. So took, I think, 3 or 4 minutes just for it to finally decide to let it go to live.
Yeah, I'm on mobile data, so I hope that sticks out a bit longer. But no, we were all here when the live started. Yay!
Yay!
How long
I
has it been
think
since that
that's
happened?
the first in a while.
So what you working on?
Just a
Making
random project today.
figures.
I understood approximately none of that because both of you were talking.
I'm making cute little Easter bunny earrings.
Aww.
And I'm working on a random. There you go.
Lisa, what'd you say? What are you working on?
I'm testing.
She said a random project.
Thank you.
I'm testing a theory.
Gotcha. Well, I have a project there to work on, but as Lisa already knows, I was doing something different than usual at work today that my muscles are not used to. And I am so sore today. And so I don't even know if I'm going to actually be working on any craft stuff. Also, for that same reason, I'm sitting up in my bedroom because I did not feel like sitting in a regular chair. And my book is down in my workshop still. So this should be fun.
I'm a little stuffy this week. I apologize.
But I do have a kitty.
Oh no. Not to the kitty. Never oh no to the kitty.
What?
You said, and I have a kitty, and I said, oh no, and I was like, I didn't mean that. Never oh no to the kitty.
Never oh no to the kitty. Actually, that's not true. There are times that I would definitely oh no to the kitty. But not to having the kitty snuggle me. Just oh no to the kitty, like trying to get up on the table and eat food and stuff like that.
All right. So last week, or a couple weeks ago, when we canceled, I actually read the book. We're finding out this is an omen. If Karen has actually read the chapters, we're going to cancel.
Yep. Thus it seems. And I was saying last time that we would have pie since it's Pie Day, but even though I have pie in the fridge, my husband just brought me chocolate frosting and Teddy Grahams for my dessert. So, like, how can I argue with that?
I got shepherd's pie. Is that?
Yes. But, I mean, I already had pie at lunchtime. And I'll probably have more pie later. And throughout the rest of the week. I like pie.
Pie is pretty good.
Really, my biggest reason for celebrating Pie Day is as much of a nerd as I am, it's because I like pie a whole lot more than because I like numbers.
Yep. I think most people enjoy the same mostly for the pie.
Yeah.
Teddy Bear has hair now.
Yay!
All right. So these were a couple of heady chapters.
Yeah. I was so upset. I was like,
I knew you would be. I knew you both would be. And every time that you've talked about how much you love Beth, I've been like, oh, they're not going to love when that comes.
yeah.
I did not appreciate it all. In fact, I told Karen that if something worse than that had happened to Beth, I would have left. I would have been, no, I'm done. Nope, I'm done.
Keep talking. I need to go let the cat out of the room now. I opened the bag and it scared him, and now he needs to leave the room.
Of course. So
So,
yeah.
Started off 17 with their mother leaving, or having left, excuse me, to see their father, who was not doing well in the hospital.
Right.
Did we find out what exactly was wrong with the father? I couldn't remember.
I don't know if they ever really
They just
specify.
said he wasn't doing well.
And he relapses. I don't think they ever specify exactly what it is. I don't think, I mean, in fairness, she couldn't just like Google different things that the soldiers might have been dealing with.
Also notice to avoid giving the baby a gender, they constantly called or a name, they called the baby it.
That actually was fairly common.
Really? Calling a baby it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And your reaction to that is exactly what my brain does, but yeah, it was fairly common for a very long time. It was also common. It was, I think, at that point starting to become less common, but especially for where that family was, I want to say lower income, but that's not a poorer family, that it wasn't uncommon to not even name a child until they were like a year or two old.
Because you never knew if they were going to make it.
Oh, so disassociating by calling it was
exactly
easier if it passed. Yeah.
It's heartbreaking enough that the baby died without having, you know, you name it, you get attached.
You name it, you get attached. Yep.
I'm sure Beth was attached without it having a name.
What?
I'm sure Beth got attached before it had a name. Because that's how Beth got hanging out with the sick baby.
Beth could probably get attached to a dandelion and be sad that somebody picked it. So
she's a gentle soul.
That was not a criticism. I'm just saying that that's a factor of Beth's a characteristic of Beth. I'm the same way. This is not a criticism. It's a characteristic of her.
Lisa's like, don't pick on Beth.
See, but that's the thing. I only stated that, and you automatically assumed I meant it as a negative thing because people act like that's a negative thing. Why is that?
I don't know.
It bugs me.
I don't know.
This world we live in where people act like having feelings is a bad thing.
Yeah. Don't look at me. I am an emotional being.
I am both an emotional and a logical being, which is essentially to say I am a Vulcan that never went through the proper training of how to keep my emotions in check. So yeah. Speaking of feelings, They were
So-
trying to do the things they were supposed to do, sort of.
Actually, they were leaving it all for Beth, and then the baby got sick, and then Beth got
Well,
sick.
They started out trying to. And
So yeah,
then
so like the first week they did really well.
which like can any of us say we haven't been there?
Right. But I do think that maybe Joe dropped the ball the fastest because of her cold. Like all of a sudden she got a cold because she had no hair. And
Which is the best reason.
and so she just kind of like had to stay home and not do
Which-
anything.
Which makes sense, but like she was well aware that she was continuing to milk it for things that she didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Like she directly says, no, like I
Like-
only have to stay home and rest for those things that I don't want to do, not
It's
for the
like-
things that I want to do.
I'm good enough to hang out with Lori, but not good enough to go visit the Hummels.
I mean, she's laughing at herself as she's saying it. She knows that she's being ridiculous.
Oh, excuse me.
It is.
I think I did this wrong. That's okay.
Yeah, but
What I'm working on. I think I did too many spaces down here.
sounds reasonable.
Mhm.
I've always been
figure
a
it
bit
out.
spacey myself.
I'm trying something, so it's just scrap anyway.
I'm literally just playing games on my phone.
Yeah, so and then even Meg's like, I'll go see the Hummels tomorrow because Beth is severely upset that the baby is sick and she doesn't know what to do. And then Beth doesn't even go. And the next day she's like, oh well, Amy can go. And then Amy never returns home.
What?
Because she's off. Isn't Amy off doing something? And she said she'll get together stuff and
No, that's not what happened. So Beth came home and found out that the baby had scarlet fever. So they had Beth stay home and the doctor come see if she had scarlet fever. Now, I guess Joe and Meg had it before.
you're
so they're
ahead
safe.
of where I am. You're talking ahead of where I am.
Okay, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like,
Okay.
I
Amy
feel like
doesn't
probably
leave.
something stood out to you that my brain skimmed over, so I'm like lost in which, and I can't reference it in my book because
It's
it's
literally
downstairs.
like a brief mention in the book, so
That's why I'm saying it's probably something my
Um,
brain skimmed over that stood out to you.
So it's like
Um,
she thanks Meg for being willing to go over the next day because she's emotionally distraught that the baby is sick and she doesn't know what to do. And then the next day comes and Meg is talking about having Amy fetch things when she gets back. And having Hannah put together a to-go bag or something, but they're all lounging by the fire and eventually Beth just gets her stuff together herself and goes to the Hummels herself. So they're waiting on Amy to get back to get things together. And Amy didn't come back.
I just buried my book.
It's literally just like one or two sentences. I probably overread into it.
It was probably just like when Amy was like off playing instead or something, I guess.
Right? She's probably with Lori or something. Like,
Or
Meg promised
whichever.
she would go tomorrow. Ask Hannah for some nice little mess and take it round. Beth, the air will do you good, said Joe. I'd go, but I want to finish my story. Amy will be in presently, and she will run down for us, suggested Meg. An hour passed. Amy did not come. Meg went to her room. I guess she never came. Like,
yeah, see?
From where,
Came in.
though?
I don't
From
know.
wherever
Came
she
in.
was when they asked.
I think that's the
Whenever
part that
she began-
confused my brain.
It doesn't really specify. She must have been out, or she was upstairs and never came down.
Yeah.
And then and then poor Beth had to hold the baby. That would have devastated me. And poor Beth is just like,
No. I do not even like thinking about that part. Especially now that
Oh.
I'm a mom, but even before that, like, nope. Cannot handle.
mm-mm.
Apparently, Amy was outside, usually making mud pies. So Amy was just playing outside half the time. So she was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, she'll
she's
play too," and
like
she's
what, 11,
just
12?
still playing outside.
12.
Yeah.
And the Hummels were forgotten, an hour passed, and Amy did not come. So yeah, she was just playing outside, I guess.
Like it says, Amy did not come. See?
Okay, yeah, but I thought
We have
So-
spent way more time on this than it possibly lasted in the book.
That's like one sentence.
once now I can't. Now I gotta put my. Now I can't. I unburied my book, and now I can't do anything. My desk is buried again.
Crafting problems 101.
I have this ginormous pile beside my desk of all the stuff from my store that I have yet to take care of because I've been going through it recently, including some stuff I got from online shopping, and I decided to empty out the cases and put them in bags and stuff. Like these.
Because she likes bags better.
I like bags better. And I got new molds and everything, and I've been trying to figure out where to put them. Like, look at these molds; they're so cute. I got some bunnies and carrots. I've got nowhere to put them. It's like there. I don't want to debury my book again in case I need it in a minute. Okay.
But yeah, so Beth decides to go for herself, and then the baby dies, and the doctor's just like, "You should have called me sooner." Poor poverty mother. When I think of the Hummels, I think of Emma, the movie with Gwyneth Paltrow, how she
Mhm.
visits the
Bates.
Bates, and they're poor, and they don't have the money for anything. That's why she always
So-
goes.
There's a difference in that the Bateses are genteel poor. They were raised in gentility and in a manner are still kind of part of the gentility, but they don't have any money. So other people of the gentility just offer their charity and such. Whereas the Hummels are most likely immigrants who are like poor, like living in a shack poor.
There was another family in Emma that wasn't the Bates, but it's like this poor old woman, and she had several children.
Oh yeah.
That Emma did visit. I'd compare them more to that family.
Emma
Name
did
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of charity work.
She felt herself proud. She took pride in her charity work, which was wrong, but it was nice that she did stuff, but she did it for the wrong reason.
She did it
I
for the
don't-
wrong reasons.
I remember the book better than the Gwyneth
Oh,
Paltrow
I
movie,
was
and I don't remember
obsessed
that in
with
the
the
book, so I'm
movie.
not positive.
I was
In-
obsessed with the movie.
I'm not a huge fan of that movie, of that adaptation. Mostly because I'm not a huge fan of Gwyneth Paltrow in any role other than as Pepper Potts. And I kept getting distracted by outfits in that movie that seemed,
More accurate.
yeah, seemed way too much like modernized versions, and they were distracting me from enjoying the movie.
Fair,
It's just
fair.
one of those things that my brain wasn't letting me enjoy it.
Nobody said it was historically accurate.
Which is so rare because all Austen adaptations are. The 2005 Pride and Prejudice, for instance, so historically accurate. Also super accurate to the book. And yet I like that. So I don't know. Probably more Gwyneth Paltrow that made it so I couldn't enjoy the movie.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I see, like, just like people that tend to get by on the charity of others, not because they want to, but because they have to.
Yeah.
That sounds really rude.
No. I just,
Because even the doctor was like, gave them a pitying look afterwards. And I'm like,
I think he didn't realize until she said that how much like she couldn't afford medical care. She couldn't afford anything. I'm trying to think of a different comparison. But everything that's coming to mind, I'm not sure if you would know the reference. Have you ever seen North and South? The BBC miniseries.
Nope.
Okay. I don't know. Anyway, when basically just that sort of people do charity work to help them out kind of thing, like the Bateses, except that like the Bateses are genteel poor, so they're not expected to work, whereas the Hummels are like immigrants with a whole lot of children and, you know, a lot of mouths to feed and not enough ability to make the income that they need is what
not
really
enough
makes
working
that
age
distinction.
people in the house. Yeah.
It's in Emma, it's more charity work that's still within your social sphere, whereas in Little Women, it's more helping those who are truly unable to take care of themselves. I don't know, it's not like either the Bateses or the Hummels would be fine if people just left them to their own devices or whatever. It's just that the I guess perception of the people helping them is really the only part that's really different there.
I wasn't trying to get all philosophical. I was just saying that it reminded me of like that, like
I
that
know.
kind of instance.
But you're talking to me, and you know I'm going to get all philosophical. So I'm just analyzing and comparing and contrasting because it was an interesting point, and I'm
Very interesting.
the different
Not where I
perspectives.
intended going.
You're welcome. Anyway, so the Hummels, yeah,
The baby's sick with scarlet fever.
Yep.
And then Joe finds Beth in their mother's room,
crying,
showing
And,
symptoms of scarlet fever.
Then the after the doctor confirms his scarlet fever, because they have the doctor come over.
A different doctor than the one that went to the Hummels, mind you.
a different doctor.
No, it's the same.
It
was the
sounded
same
like it was a
doctor.
different one. Like the way it sounded like it was a different doctor. I was like, how many doctors are in this town?
I
No,
thought
it's
it was the same doctor, but I don't really know.
It might be the same doctor, but then why wouldn't he have checked out Beth while she was there when he
She may
saw
not
her
have
there?
said she had any symptoms. She may not have told him of any symptoms. I mean, she didn't tell her family she was having symptoms. So
Didn't he basically just send her right home? Like,
Oh,
I
he
told her
might
she should
have.
take belladonna. Yeah, he sent her home
Oh,
to tell her
yeah.
she should take belladonna to prevent having spotted fever. But she'd already been showing signs of symptoms. So she didn't know if the
Yeah.
belladonna would help. That's why they called the doctor over. So it was the same doctor.
And then
They sent Amy to be with Miss Aunt March.
so Amy
that's
gets
a
to suffer
dream.
Aunt March instead of Joe for a while.
I do like that Beth chose Joe because I think Joe is more nurturing, even though she's more wild. But also,
Which is-
like Meg, I like how they're like Meg was hurt, but she was also happy because she's not the nurturing kind.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks for putting that in there. I appreciate that.
She's like, I want you to love me more, but also I don't want to be the one who has to take care of you.
Right? Like, I understand in this situation. We all have siblings. We understand.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
because I am the nurturing one that they all would have been like, she should be taking care of me, and I would have been there taking care of all of them. So
I'm probably the one who would have been taking care of them. Yep, that sounds like me too.
yeah, brain just went blank.
So then we spent like a whole chapter being very worried about Beth as she's on her deathbed, basically.
Like,
And then-
okay. Yeah.
I genuinely thought you said her Beth bed for a second. I was like, yes, it was
bed. I
Beth's
love
bed.
I love that.
But Hannah told them not to tell their mother, so they did not message their mother.
Just makes me want to reach into the book and ring Hannah and just like shake her and let them call their mother.
And
Yeah,
then,
but at the same time, I understand where Hannah's coming from. She's capable enough to help and nurture Beth and their mother
Beginning
really
I do, but she keeps pushing and pushing it longer than seems necessary.
Yeah, that I agree with. She pushed it too far. I agree, but like, I
At the
feel
same
I do
time, they're
understand
understanding
where
with their
Hannah was coming
father.
from.
You know, they don't know that their father's doing well. They don't want her to have to choose between being with her husband or being with her kid. You know, when at least there's somebody there with the kids, and there would be nobody there with her husband if she left. So Hannah's just trying to make sure that their
Yeah,
mom
Yeah,
is there.
But if she's with her husband and her daughter dies while she's not there,
that would heartbreak.
not be good.
It's really not
But
a good
mildly.
place to be either way for their
It's
mother.
really not, especially when they had just gotten word that he had relapsed again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of spoilers, I think, to the book. I think somebody told me that Lori.
Wait! Don't give Lisa any spoilers.
So it may have been Lisa who gave me the spoilers. I'm not even sure.
I'm pretty sure it was me who gave her the spoiler.
Okay.
That Lori ends up with Amy, and I was like, but I don't see that because I want Lori to end up with Joe. And I think I caught a glimpse of that being possible in the last chapter with Lori going to see Amy every day while she's at Aunt March's.
Yeah, but you can also see the Joe a little bit because, like,
because near the end she was also super happy and she gave him a big hug and it's kind of a little cute awkward moment. But I guess if Amy and Lori do it, don't tell me, Caroline. I don't want to know.
I'm not. Oh, I'm not. In the words of Molly of Pod and Prejudice, nope. wrong one, of Becca of Pod and Prejudice. Every time that Molly makes a prediction of what's going to happen, I will neither confirm nor deny.
There you go.
That's like if that does happen, I can see that this would be kind of the start of that. It would break my heart, but
Yeah, what got me was the part where, like, so she's there and all of a sudden they're waiting for Lori to come back with their mom, knowing they won't be back until at least 3 a.m. because the late night train don't come until 2 a.m.
wait,
and
you
it's
forgot to-
snowing.
we skipped over the part where Lori actually said a word to her mom, and that's why Joe was so happy. We skipped over
Yes.
that part.
But it killed me because then all of a sudden she's like, she felt the shift and she goes and she kisses the clammy forehead of Beth, and I was about to cry. I tell you, I wanted to cry. I'm like, nope, I'm done.
I told you you would not like that chapter. I was like, you do not like these chapters, Lisa. You will not like them.
With as much as I was struggling with my depression, and as much as you weren't feeling well, there's a reason that I canceled book club 2 weeks ago. I was like, we're not doing these chapters those days.
No.
Oh, yeah, they're rough.
Yeah.
They're rough ones.
But then Hannah
Um,
comes in and says that her fever broke and that she's doing better.
And
You're
that's
like,
what the shift was. The shift was her fever breaking, not.
That's
And
her
then-
dying.
Then the doctor who said he'd be there at midnight finally shows up after 2 o'clock. Probably due to the storm and other patients.
Yeah, it's like it was
Let's be
snowing, and
honest.
you can get plenty of patience this time of year. Okay.
So, but tells us that yes, she is doing better. She's on the mend.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
That's how it ends.
it's it's an intense couple chapters.
Oh.
Oh wait, you skipped one other little bit toward the end there.
I did.
Mom actually comes home.
What?
Did the mom actually make it home?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Did she?
they just like right at the end they're like, and Marmy's here. Or Marmy's
Oh.
like, I see Marmy coming.
Oh,
Basically.
okay.
Like she hasn't actually come in. We haven't talked to her yet, but they're like, she's here. Beth is doing better. So after those very, very intense chapters, at least it doesn't end like on a cliffhanger. It ends with, okay, we can take a breath.
And Amy is still at Aunt March's, and she doesn't get to see her mom right away like everybody else.
She doesn't even know how bad Beth is because Beth just turned so quickly overnight. I mean,
as bad as she was for so long, like, I mean, I've seen people actually I've experienced that. I did that with COVID, like being really sick like that, and then just kind of like, oh wow, it just went away. Okay, guess I'm fine now. Except for the part where I still have all the residual stuff that likes to pester me perpetually. But yeah, I mean that break like that, like, I don't know. I think I have more of a visceral reaction to it now than I did as a kid. As a kid, it was like, that's sudden. And now I'm like, I've witnessed it and experienced it in things myself and in colds that my kids had and different things enough times that I'm like, I know that sense of relief of, oh, that fever's broken now. Okay. Whew. And that's like now with, I live 5 minutes from the hospital. We have doctors on call, like, without having to go out on horseback.
Started on the hospital. I was there yesterday. Don't even get me started on the hospital.
nobody's getting you started on the hospital.
I was gonna say, I didn't think it was.
I doubt.
my point is that's with like today versus like 1860s to
The
have that
access we
released
have.
then, like so much more.
So much more, and at the same time, so much the same.
Yeah. Yeah, very much. Ay. Oh man. I could almost swear that I don't think I not tore, but like it's like I strained a
A muscle?
rotator cuff or something working on jackets today.
You mentioned that, and you know, the other day when Jasmine was doing the yanking Y, and I copied her, I twinged the shoulder, like it hurt for like several days.
Which, for reference, for anybody else who is not us, when we're doing stretches at work, we have these like rotator cuff ones where we do like the Y and the T, and it's supposed to just be like stretching it. But one of our coworkers was like practically throwing her hands back and Y and T, and I'm like, you're supposed to be like stretching, not like throwing your wrists, throwing your arms back and throwing muscles out of place. And yeah, Lisa like
under 30,
actually did
she's
it with that
fine.
same level of force and discovered that you're really not supposed to do it with that level of force.
She's under 30. She's fine.
Yeah.
It's like once you hit that 30 mark, it's not okay anymore.
I'm just sitting there at work today, with where I was helping out on the jackets line, listening to these like early 20s around me talking about just all these different, I don't know, I can't even like, it wasn't anything specific, it's just like general conversation that I'm just like, wow,
Oh, you're so young kind of thoughts.
wow, I'm really old. Like,
Oh, see, I go, oh, you're so young.
that too. You precious babies.
I think I feel I card people on their 21st birthday. People come in
How
and
do
well,
how do I think you feel? I am and will always be older than you two. So
She will.
I'm over here carding people that are all excited buying beer legally by themselves for the first time. And I'm like,
and you're looking at it going,
"You're a
why
little
does that year start with that?
Yeah,
So, no, you can't be old enough at this year. No.
yeah, 2002. 2002.
Oh, no. No.
I was in middle school in 2000.
And I was talking with an old coworker last week, and I was like, yeah, like 14, 15 years ago, we were in school. And I'm like, wait, I've been out of school that long?
I do that so often. I'm like, it wasn't that long ago. It was like my sophomore year of high school. So like 20 years ago. Oh.
Oh, what? That was a while. Yeah.
Okay. That's the thing. Like 35 does not feel old to me. Like 20 years ago, if I was in high school, that feels old to me.
It's like,
And
wait, I'm in my 30s
thing,
now?
I don't know how one does and the other doesn't. The other one of the girls upstairs said something about a couple of guys that she knows that were gonna help her or not help her or something. Anyway, I was like, and what are their age ranges? And she's like, what are their ages? And she's like, they range from 23 to 21. I was like, that's not a range, darling.
No, no.
Those are just babies. And she's like, and I'm right in between at 22. And I was like, good for you. That's still not a range.
That's when you say about. That's the range. About.
I'm like, you're all babies, is what you are. I love you dearly. You're all little babies. And then I realized now that our team lead, which I'm trying to not say people's names just because we're on live stream and I don't have their permission for using their names on live streams, but but just because our team lead, who has been there 3 months longer than I have, is technically no longer on a line, since that they have taken the team leads off of the actual lines so that they can oversee the lines without being inserted into them.
Allows them to do their job better.
It does. As far as those of us who are actually on the stitching floors, like upstairs and down, I'm the longest standing stitcher there of anybody who's still on the stitching floor. And I was like, how did I become the oldest generation of stitching?
Even upstairs?
I was looking around upstairs going, I trained her. I trained the person who trained her. I trained her. And all the rest of these people were trained by other people after I wasn't even up here anymore. Like, I'm like, our team lead and I were basically the last two of us, and then she's not on a stitching line anymore. So for those of us who are actually still on a line, I am the longest employed stitcher there,
Wow.
which makes me want to find our boss and CEO and remind him of when I argued him into letting me be a stitcher, and remind him that he didn't think that I could do it.
That actually does not shock me.
What, that he didn't think I could do it, or that I argued him into thinking that?
Both actually.
Because I am still 100% certain that the only reason that he actually let me do it was because I argued and he didn't think I would. And now he knows me well enough to know that, yeah, I will. Well, we still have 15 minutes left, but I don't know that we have much more to talk about.
I know, like, I didn't want to talk too much about the book because it's so
I know, because it was sort of
dark.
I really didn't want to go too much.
Baby, I don't want to talk about Beth being sick.
Exactly.
I do have a question though, because like I understand this was common in the older days, so like I'm just confused. It says that when Jo was so excited, she leapt and she like pretty much glomped Lori. She just like gave him a hug. But then, and that's where I get fuzzy on the details. Either she kissed him or he kissed her. That was like on the cheek, right? Like, because that was common back then. Friends kissed each other on the cheeks. Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry, my mute got hit accidentally. Yeah, they weren't making out or anything.
I didn't think so. I needed to clarify that because then she started acting sheepish, and I'm like, did she just like get sheepish about her own actions about hugging him, or did I miss something?
I mean, he's basically like a brother to them, but he's still not actually their brother.
Right?
And she just kind of leapt at this neighbor boy and hugged him and kissed his cheek, and
it's not like he's unattractive. I mean,
he made a joke about he doesn't mind her doing that,
Yeah, I caught
Um,
that joke. I
that
did.
she's kind of whoops, sorry. Probably shouldn't be acting like that. He's a little flirty with her there
Yeah, I
in
know.
response.
I know
So
it. I'm like,
that
well,
might have
there's a
increased her
break.
discomfort a bit too.
I'm like, Lori.
I mean, it's not the first observation made that seems to indicate Lori noticing Joe.
Yeah.
Not much to indicate going the other direction, but you know.
I still ship them. I still ship them.
Well, I
I
was
know
seeing if
nothing.
this color gradient would work with this design. What do you guys think?
Ooh. I can't really see a color gradient very much, but I really like that design.
Yeah, you really can't. So it's like it's turning green up here, and it's more of like a yellowish pink green down here.
You want to bring it to work and show me tomorrow and I can see it in person?
Yes, I'll show you because my camera does not work well with
Well,
colors.
the backlit-ness doesn't help.
Yeah. I know. I need to move where my desk is so that the camera
I-
light's better.
I like redid color in my hair and you can't even see it on the camera.
Oh, phew! Thank goodness. Sorry, I messed up and I caught it early. Sorry.
It's assuming that it wasn't thank goodness we can't see the color on the camera or thank goodness you redid the color in your hair, but I wasn't sure what it was.
It was about my stitching. No, I
I
did
also-
see you did your hair today. I didn't
I
get to
also-
see much of you though.
I know. I really hope that I'm back in our department tomorrow. I don't
Same
mind helping out
here.
other places. I just miss I told them it's like jackets. Well, no, I told them trimming is like where I was born, but my childhood was in jackets and like I grew up in jackets and then like went to college in pants and then like visited in other places and then like in my adult life settled in compression stitching. And I'm like, that's home now. Jackets is like, it's like going back to your hometown for a visit, but it's not home anymore. And I just want to go back to my home now.
Go back home. Yep.
It's you know, you go back to your hometown, but it's expanded. It's they've like changed to a bunch of layouts of things.
Your favorite
and,
restaurant is closed.
right? You don't even know how accurate that is because the amount of snacks that one of my friends used to have for me there that's not there anymore.
Literal restaurant right there.
What is the restaurant closed? Anyway, I'm also just like looking at my hair and the length of my hair because we might have 1 or 2 more bookcraft sessions with my hair this length, but it's not going to stay this length for much longer
Oh, you wanna
because
cut it?
the weather's warming up and it's going away.
I've thought about cutting my hair because it's the longest it's ever been. It's down to here now.
Mine's the longest it's ever been too, which is longer than that.
Yes, your
I
hair's a lot
recently
longer than
cut
mine.
So
It's down to here now.
There
If I pull
you
it,
go.
if I pull it straight while standing up, it's fully down to my tailbone.
There you go. Mine is
And
not.
it's never gotten to closer than like this much above my tailbone before. And then it would not grow any more than that. And I'm like, I love that it's this long, but also like I get hot.
Mine is so long that I actually need 2 boxes of hair dye to dye it. I've never had to use 2 boxes of hair dye.
I really can't
Yeah,
comment on anything with
I
that. 'cause
recently cut mine, so.
I
Oh,
know,
no, did you cut my hair? I
and
don't
it's
remember.
adorable. But I already told you that.
Thank you. I did a good job.
Now I gotta save up the
I'm a
money to dye it.
stylist.
Let's see. If I do that, I can get kind of a little bit of like an I Dream of Jeannie thing going on.
There you go.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap up.
Yep.
Let's
Trying
see.
to finish this
Next
bunny
time will
before
be
the end of the stream.
the next session will be the 28th. It will be the day before my oldest baby turns 11.
No. Not 11.
I'm really struggling to accept the idea of him turning 11.
I
So I'm
know
probably
last
going to
year
talk
that
about that
struggle
more
he
in
was
2
put-
weeks than anything else.
I was like, you were struggling with the fact that you turned double digits last year.
Yeah. And now he's matching double digits.
Oh no.
It's like 10 is like, oh, you're double digits, but 11 is like, oh my gosh, we've actually gone to preteen.
I know, right?
I don't know what to do with this. And then my 8-year-old was like, so you've been a mom for 18 years, right? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, because he's 10 and I'm 8. And I'm like, no, baby, it does not work that way.
No, that's not how mother years work.
I'm like, your entire life has been within his lifespan. So it's still my span of being a mother as only as long as his lifespan. And he's like, but you've been my mom too. And I'm like, I understand where you're coming from. No.
Knowing your son, I totally understand his logic.
This is the same 8-year-old laying there last night complaining that his 10-year-old brother is not being logically logical. Anyway, all right, I'm going to end the stream now. So everybody say bye.
Bye.